Hey, what's up? My name's Casper, and today I will be talking about the movie Whiplash. And, this is going to include some spoilers. It's talking about some main central themes of the plot and the movie's ending. I'd recommend looking up the synopsis of it if you're interested in watching. Now, the story centers around conflict, first and foremost. It's presented as a story about Andrew Neiman and his passion. I believe that the audience is tricked because the movie is just as much about Fletcher as it is about Andrew, and the classic story structure this movie seems to follow without hiccup at first. It's only showing Andrew's perspective, and it leads the audience to assume that the story is about Andrew trying to follow his passion of being one of jazz's greats, with, Fletcher as the antagonist. Fletcher, in this starting position, of which the audience perceives, is that he is the barrier to Andrew being one of the greats. From this first half, all we really do see from Fletcher's psychopathy really isn't anything that's like super mind blowing, other than of course like the great performance that J.K. Simmons gives. It's really great just like to watch, but on a very just purely just mental level, nothing sticks out too much. He's just a guy stuck up his own ass trying to create the best jazz musician of all time, and that is an understandable perspective, right? But that's really becomes highlighted, I think, near the end of the movie, where we see him talk about, oh yeah, I think the world has become content, and that's a bad thing. And the motivation behind like his manipulation and abuse becomes a little more humanized, and like his actions are still unforgivable. He's still incredibly abusive, but he is at least some part human in his monstrosity. Okay, now when Fletcher actually manipulates Andrew to play for him, and Neiman fucks up, then the first song, it really does seem like, oh, Fletcher's won, and he's ruined Andrew Neiman's chances at a good jazz career for good, for permanently. He's taken Neiman down with him. Fletcher's won, and Andrew decides, no, fuck that. I'm gonna play my song. So then he does, and he takes back his pride, and he shows what he's got, and it's in this moment that it seems like it should end with Andrew Neiman won, and like Fletcher looks like a fool because, oh my god, he is skilled, but Andrew just becomes more and more crazy, and Fletcher sees the spark of greatness that he's been looking for the entire movie, the thing that he originally says that he saw in Andrew. And we don't know if he's lying or not. If he originally saw it, we know that he was definitely manipulating him to go, but we don't know if that was actually there. No, well, we know it's there, but we don't know if Fletcher actually saw that originally. But what originally started as Andrew Neiman's defiance, Fletcher takes back under his control. The story and plot of Whiplash was originally presented as Andrew versus the world on a quest of passion, with Fletcher being the embodiment of its harshness. But that's completely dissected by the end of the movie, and it's really put on full display that that's not the true intentions of the movie. It's not Andrew versus the world. It is just Andrew versus Fletcher, and Fletcher's abuse bringing out exactly what he was looking for in Andrew. But that abuse bringing out exactly what he was looking for, that happens at the end of the movie, and he starts directing Andrew, and in something that started as Andrew's defiance, Fletcher's taken back under control, and he's won because he's got what he's looking for. Maybe in that like original first part of, oh man, he still made Andrew look like a fool originally, but he still turned him into one of the greatest musicians of all time, and it completely makes sense that like the movie ends at without seeing if Andrew Neiman is successful, because the movie was never about Andrew. The movie was centralized not around Andrew, and it's about passion, and Fletcher's in the way. It's about the conflict between Andrew and Fletcher, and Fletcher won. I don't think I've really seen any other videos talking about Whiplash in this sort of way. Almost every single talk about the movie and its plot structure has been talking about, oh yeah, it's not actually a movie about jazz, it's a movie about passion. This is a movie about passion, but I don't think it is. I do genuinely think that this is a movie about the conflict. And if this was a movie about passion, with as good as it is, I think that it should have, and honestly would have ended not there. It would have ended with seeing, okay, how does Andrew's passion continue? But the reason it doesn't end with him absolutely fucking like being one of jazz's greats is because within the context of it instead being about the conflict between Andrew and Fletcher, that conflict has come to a close, and it ends with Fletcher winning. It doesn't matter whether or not Andrew becomes the world's greats because the film's not about that. It's not about that. It presents itself like that in the first half, but it's not about that. And I don't know. I just think that's very interesting.